Africa has been brainwashed not by bombs and bullets, as most people would think, but by your algorithm, by what is in your pockets right now, by what you are using to watch this video right now. And I'm talking about the algorithms in the most popular social media platforms like TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Meta, Instagram, which they control, WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. So let me ask you a question. When was the last time, or maybe this has not happened to you, but I'm sure it has, where you're having a conversation about something in real life? You're talking about getting a new shower curtain, you're talking about getting a new car, whatever it might be. And then a few days later, or even that evening, you're on social media and you're swiping through your Instagram feed, and all of a sudden you see an ad that feels as if it was tailor-made for you, as if somebody was listening to everything that was going on in your mind and gave you an ad that was absolutely tailor-made for you. You can't tell me that that has not happened. You can't tell me that that has not happened to you guys. That is the algorithm at work. So I'm going to give you a very, very basic, easy explanation of what an algorithm is, so that when I reference it in this video, you will completely understand what I'm talking about. So an algorithm is a system, an automated system, by which a platform learns the behaviors of a subject, you, who's watching this video, and adapts itself to better serve either the subject or the audience at large. So an algorithm adapts to what you feed it. So for example, depending on what videos you watch, what you swipe on, what you like, what you share, what you comment on, the algorithm learns those things and essentially builds a profile of you. And from that profile, it is able to better interpret or predict what you will and what you will not like, what you will and what you will not buy, what you will and what you will not do. And when it's able to do that, it can actually change behaviors. It can actually persuade you to do things subvertly and covertly. The thing that you need to understand is that Africa has the youngest population on the planet, the absolute youngest population on the planet. So 70% of Africans are under the age of 30. 70% of Africans are under the age of 30. That is an insane statistic. So with 70% of Africans under the age of 30, that means that Africa essentially is the future of the planet. Now, on top of that, it is estimated that by the year 2030, there will be 1 billion internet users in Africa. 1 billion internet users in Africa. Now, when you put those two concepts together, what does it mean? Just use the logic of what I'm trying to tell you guys. If you can control a society through the algorithm, you can persuade them to do things. You can persuade them to vote for certain people, to hate certain countries, to love certain religions, to accept certain policies, to accept certain status quo, to reject certain status quo. If you control the algorithm, you control the population. If you control the algorithm, you control the society, you control the people, you control the country, and you control the future. Okay? Now, with a population that young, this is the reason why what I'm telling you is so important when it comes to algorithm control and manipulation. So, what happened in 2019? 2019 was the advent of TikTok. TikTok brought a very, very different system to social media, which is connected to what I'm talking about in this video. Prior to TikTok, what used to happen was, if you signed up to Instagram, you signed up to Facebook, you signed up to YouTube and so forth, and you subscribed to somebody, you would get served videos from that person you subscribed to whenever they posted a video. And if you're a content creator, if you had a certain number of subscribers, when you posted a video, those are the people that would get your videos. Okay? Now, this is where things got interesting with TikTok and why it's so important for Africa. TikTok is one of the biggest social media platforms in Africa, period. Everybody's on TikTok, and everybody's got a cell phone now because everybody's got a data plan. What TikTok did was different from what all social media was doing before. What TikTok did is that they created something known as the For You page. The For You page is pure algorithm. Now that you understand what algorithm is, because I explained it to you, I'm telling you that the TikTok For You page is pure algorithm. If I'm telling you that the For You page is pure algorithm, what does that mean? It means that the For You page is designed to watch you, to understand you, to understand every little thing you like, do, perform on you TikTok, and give you videos that it believes you will respond to. And it is one of the most sophisticated algorithms in social media. In fact, it probably is the most sophisticated algorithm in social media. And that is the reason why TikTok became so popular and from 2019 exploded and everybody started copying that methodology. So what started happening is, get up here. What started happening with TikTok, with social media, is that everybody copied them. Everybody created short form content. Everybody started producing material that operated the same way that TikTok's algorithm operated. What this created for Africa is a situation of complete control. Before this, Africans were spread out everywhere. You know, you couldn't really contact or communicate with X billion or hundreds of millions of Africans at one go. Now, the power of social media is that you actually can. So anybody that can control an algorithm has a massive amount of influence over Africa's youth, because most of Africa's youth is on social media. And as I told you, Africa, 70% of the population is under 30 years old. Guys, stay with me. We're breaking this all down today, guys. We're breaking it all down today. So when you have a situation like that, these media giants now understand what the game is like. Listen, we've got to control this situation before it gets out of hand. Because the last thing we want is to have random social media content creators harnessing this algorithm to influence millions, if not hundreds of millions, of young Africans. Facebook created something called Facebook Basics, free internet for Africans. Do you know what the problem is with this free internet system? They decide what websites are on this internet system. They decide what you can and cannot say on this internet system. They decide what can be posted and what cannot be posted. And what does that mean? It means very, very carefully curated content for the African mind. Guys, stay with me. We're getting into the granular levels of this conversation right now, guys. So when you have a situation like that, you've got a bunch of Africans like ourselves walking around getting brainwashed. Because everything that is coming across your For You page, everything that is coming in your Instagram scroll, everything that is coming in your YouTube scroll is going through a filter that has nothing to do with you. Has nothing to do with you. They've admitted that they flag certain things. So let me break this down. Why is it that you go on social media in Africa, Nigerians, all you're seeing is twerking videos, violence, comedy, stupid foolishness, Afro beats, silly things, things that are not, while there are wars raging in your backyard, while Congo they've done this deal now that they did with America. I've talked about that, but look at what's going on in Kenya. Look at what's going on all over this place. But those things are not the things that are pushed, because everybody knows, and I've talked about this on my platform repeatedly, the suppression of our voices is extreme. And at this point, at this juncture, guys, I want to implore you, please, before we continue, go to the link in this profile, in the description, go to the link in the profile of my profile link, wherever the link is to my newsletter, and sign up to it right now. I'm going to stop talking for a minute to give you the time to go and sign up for it, because that newsletter is algorithm free. And I'll talk about it at the end of this video, linked in the description. I'm going to give you a second to find the link while I find out where I'm going to go next. Linked in the description, guys. All right, yeah, here we go. So, now that they did this, they said, okay, we're going to give you guys free internet, but at the same time, we are suppressing particular messages. We're suppressing particular things that people are saying that could be beneficial to the African mind. Those things bother me very much. You have two major things that you need to understand about algorithms. One is the fact that it's because it's an algorithm, it creates an echo chamber. What's an echo chamber? It means that particular viewpoints get amplified. And if the algorithm has a bias for those views, for those ideas go to the forefront. Because if an algorithm is constantly pushing in front of people what it believes somebody is going to like, and if the things that people tend to like are the things that they've been conditioned to like, anti-African mentalities, anti-African unity, anti-Pan-Africanism, anti the unity of Africa and the diaspora, what do you think the algorithm is going to be putting out there? What do you think the algorithm is going to be pushing out there to the mainstream? Let me ask you something very, very serious now. There are 300 million, almost 300 million Nigerians. There are what, a billion Africans, however many across the whole world. Why is there no African content creator who has a 50 million subscribers, who talks about Pan-African unity and the amazing things that Africa has done over the centuries? Knowing how much of an appetite we have for this, why don't we have that? Do you think that that is just because Africans do not want to subscribe to somebody like that? Do you believe that? In your heart of hearts, do you believe that? Of course not. It's because those kinds of creators, those kinds of messages are not being pushed. This is not rocket science, people. That's why I come into the wilderness to have these conversations so we can have the conversation in private. I mean, it's obviously public now that it's being broadcast. I come into the wilderness to have these conversations in private. It's not rocket science. If these things were done properly and were based on the actual appetite people have for a message, we would have people with 200 million subscribers talking about Pan-African unity. And imagine the impact that such a creator could have, or a number of creators could have, if that message was being pushed out there. Guys, stay with me. We're getting real now. We're getting real now. You see, there's another thing I want to talk about, and it's about what AI actually is and why every African should be scared about what is coming on the horizon. Do you know how artificial intelligence actually works? I'll explain it to you. You see, AI doesn't just pull data and intelligence out of thin air. This is something I will talk about in a separate video, because I think that Africans need to be trained on what AI actually is and the dangers of it. It doesn't pull things from thin air. It is trained on the internet, on material that millions, if not billions, of videos and files and material that already exist on the internet. That is how AI trains itself. And then through Google, which is why they own, Google has its own, China has its own. Basically, the people who develop AI models are people who have their own internet system. The reason why Africa can never even be in the game of AI is because we don't have our own internet. We don't have our own internet, people. We're finished. We don't even have our own internet. So that's why China can train their own DeepSeek. Google can train their own Gemini. ChatGPT is open AI. They've got all of these different, whoa. Damn. Guys, I almost fell there. Elon Musk has Grok. That's how it's done, but we are not even in the game. Now, let me take this a step further so you can understand. AI trains on what is already out there. Now, what happens if what is already, what happens, guys, let me just stop talking for a while so I can navigate this. Whoa. You know what the problem is? Because my shoes have no grip. That is the real issue here. It's a lack of grip on my shoes. All right. So what do you think happens when the perspectives that exist on the internet are all anti-African? What do you think AI is going to be? If the perspectives on the internet are racist, what do you think AI is going to be? Yes, guys, I'm saying it. AI is racist. It has to be. It hasn't got a choice. It's not like AI has a soul. It's just based on what is out there. So if what is out there is anti-Black and anti-African and anti-Pan-Africanism, what do you think AI is going to be? That's what it is. And now if this AI is responsible for the algorithm and what is being pushed on your kids, what's being pushed on your young folks, that's 70% under 30-year-olds in Africa. What are we talking about here, people? We're finished. if we don't get our acts together, we're finished. So this is real talk. This is the reason why I talk about brainwashing. And I wasn't exaggerating. There's a clearing here. I wasn't exaggerating when I talked about brainwashing. I'm being 100% real. I'm being 100% real. That is what the algorithm in your pocket is doing. This video that you're watching is on a tool that is messing with your mind. That's the reason why certain stories you do not hear about them. It's not an accident. And I believe that the algorithm is actually more powerful than mainstream media ever was because of how insidious it is. Insidious means unseen, hidden. Mainstream news, you can see the people. This stuff is happening and you don't even know it's happening in your own pocket. As you swipe, every swipe you make is a further deep dive into the pits of hell. Like it's just a further deep. Because the thing is, you know what they call doom scrolling? When all of a sudden you're scrolling and you're scrolling and you're scrolling, and then before you know it, an hour has gone by, 2 hours has gone by, and you're like, oh my God, that stuff affects you depending on what videos you're watching. We must all be vigilant of what we consume and what we let our children consume and what we see and what we hear. We have to be extra vigilant and extra critical of everything that we see, because the algorithm is out there now and it is getting more and more powerful every single day. Every single day. Now, going back to what I talked about earlier in this video, I said, how do you avoid the algorithm? My belief is that you just do something that doesn't have an algorithm. It's the only way. That is the reason why I created my newsletter. Newsletter is old school, it's emails. So if I have your email address and I have a video, I have an article that I want to post like this, I don't let the algorithm decide if you get to see this video. The email decides if you get it, and you decide if you want to open the email or not. It's the only way. Now, those of you who do not want to be controlled by the algorithm will sign up to my newsletter. Those of you who do not mind being controlled will not do that. And that is your choice, not mine. Link, profile bio in the description. Cheers, guys. I'm out.